Good morning. Happy Friday. So as you can tell, yesterday I celebrated 32 years of marriage to Mike. Him and I have been together for 37 years. And I have been asked by a few people over the years on my channel if I could do a video of how we've made it work and work so well for this long. And I've toyed with trying to get him to do it with me, but that's just not my thing. Or his thing, I'm sorry. He's not comfortable. You've heard him talk. You can barely hear him when I am trying to film. He's my introvert, and he just is not comfortable. So you're getting me. You're getting raw, naked-faced me, because y'all know this isn't some beauty channel. So no makeup this morning. I have to go to work today, and I'm not putting my makeup on at 7:30 in the morning, which is about what it is right now. So as raw and naked as you're getting my face, you're going to get the raw and naked feelings from me as to why I think our marriage has survived. We have beat the odds, like huge odds against us. We started dating when I was 14. I was a freshman in high school. He was 17, a senior in high school. We didn't go to school together. We kind of met in church. And I was in church 3 times a week, Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night. His family only came to church maybe once a month. So I'd seen him. But I didn't really know who he was. I knew their names because our church wasn't huge. At that time, it might have been 175 people, 200 people max. So there was one morning in church, the pastor's wife requested that all the youth, the young people, the teenagers in the church sit up front. And I grew up in a Pentecostal church, so laid back, no formalities, just, yeah. And they were going to be talking about winter camp coming up, which was just a weekend-long camp in Maryland, and we lived in Pennsylvania, and encouraging the young people in the church to sign up to go to camp. And our pastor's wife wanted us all sitting up front. And I saw him and his family, and I was sitting up front, but of course, church hadn't started yet, and I'm just looking around to see who's there, because that's just me. And his family came in, and they were sitting toward the back. And me, being the extrovert that I am, just obnoxiously got up, walked to the back of the church. I'm like, hey, I'm Michelle. If you're interested, the pastor's wife, Millie was her name. Millie wants us all to sit in the front today because they're going to be preaching directly to us young people and then encouraging us to sign up for winter camp. So he came up and sat up front, and I honestly don't even remember if he sat next to me. I don't. I just remember that I invited him up to the front, and that was it. So he signed up to go to camp, and obviously I did. And it was I think a weekend in January or something. I honestly can't say for sure, but it was in the dead of winter. So we loaded up the church van the weekend we were to leave, and I think it might have been, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 of us at the most that went. That's a long time ago. And we went to camp. And we all hung out together as a group. Of course, the boys had their dorms, the girls had their dorms, and one night my stepsister was with me, Kim, and there was a boy she liked, and we would kind of be all at camp every year with the same kids from our region and our church that we went to. So summer camp was in Ohio, and we'd be there for a week. So we'd really get to know these kids, and we all kind of grew up together, seeing each other at summer camp every year and then at winter camp. So there was this boy that my stepsister liked, and she's only in 7th grade at the time. And I told her, she's like, oh, she really wanted this kid Nathan to hold her hand. And I said, here's what you do. I said, if he's sitting next to you in church that night, You're gonna put your hand on the top of your thigh at your knee, and you're gonna just drum your fingers like this to give him the hint. You know, get him to notice the hand just sitting there, like you're waiting for something. And Mike, being much older than the rest of us, again, he's 17, I'm 14, Kim's 12. I was showing her this before the start of the service that night. And Mike picked up on it. So it was Mike here, then me, then my stepsister, and then Kim, and then Nathan. So Mike, I can't believe he did this because he just didn't talk to people, leans forward and said, "This is how you do it." Because I was doing this on my leg, showing her, and he picked up my hand and held it in his like this and never left it go the whole service. And we really didn't say much. And after the service was over, it was time for us to go to our dorms. So we're walking up the pathway in the woods in the cold, and then it comes to a Y where the girls go one way and the boys go the other. And there was not allowed to be any physical interaction. You could hold hands, and that was it. There was to be no like kissing and stuff like that at camp. So me being the extrovert that I am, and he was much taller than me, but I got up on my tiptoes, and when we got to that point where we had to split, I like pulled myself up and gave him a very quick kiss on the lips and said goodnight. And that was it. Apparently he went into his dorm and told the guys in the dorm that he was bunking with that he was going to marry me someday. And I didn't know he said this until a long time later. So needless to say, we became kind of boyfriend and girlfriend that weekend. And when we came home from camp, we were holding hands in the van. And my mom will tell you that I drop her off at the church to go to camp and she isn't holding hands with anybody, and I come home and she's got some guy on her hand. And at the time I was seeing another guy in our church, Mark. And he wasn't going to camp. He was a little bit of a wild child. And I had just been making out with him in his car in a church parking lot the weekend before. And even when Mike and I came back from camp, that very next Sunday after church, I was sitting in the car with Mark. Like, I was not. Mike assumed at that point we were like together forever, blah, blah, blah. And I was still attached to the other guy. And I had to, that slowly just fizzled out on its own. Like, there wasn't Mark and I weren't exclusive. We weren't dating. We weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. We just liked to make out. And that guy could kiss like you have no idea. He had the perfect set of lips. But anyway, so that's the story of Mike and I and how we met and how we got together. That was way too long to explain that. So anyway, we've been together for a long, long time. We were married as soon as I graduated from high school. I graduated in 87. My mother said there would be no engagement ring on my finger until I graduated. So he respected that. And I graduated in 87, and that very next weekend after graduation, he took me out to dinner, and after dinner, he proposed. And I, of course, said yes. 2 years later, we were married. We've been married since May 6th of 1989. So, in those 37 years that we've been together, we'll kind of ignore the first 5. I'm still in high school at that point, you know, I'm still a kid. So, of course, we had our times of making each other jealous, and he was the super jealous type. Oh my goodness. Like, I was really involved in school. I was in marching band, clarinet choir, symphonic band, forensics club, YFU. I wrote for the school newspaper. I was on the yearbook business staff. And I danced in all the school musicals. Like, I was super active in school. So he would come to performances or events that I would be in. And if he saw me talking to another boy, it was like he wanted to know who that was. Does he want you? Does he want to go out with you? Blah, 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 blah. He was so insecure in himself and so insecure in our relationship and so jealous. So at times that would really get on my nerves because I was not doing anything with anyone else. And we would have our moments of, that's it, I'm done with you, I'm breaking up. No, please, baby, come on. And we never really broke up. There was one point when I was a senior that we did split up for like 2 weeks, and it was hell. My mom cried. His mom cried. They're like, oh my God, what are they doing? They can't break up. They've been together this long. Did we ever truly break up? We never really were seeing other people during that time. No, it was just a cooling off period. So again, I'm not even going to think about those years, because that, again, I was still a kid. Oh my God, I was still a kid. I was still a kid when I got married. You know, I was 19 and had a mortgage, a car payment, a full-time job, and a husband. I wasn't even 21 yet. I couldn't even drink, but yet I had all this responsibility. And I'm not saying that was a bad thing. I chose that. I chose that life, and I don't regret choosing that life. Most kids are in college and partying and sowing their wild oats. I waited till I was a lot older to do that, and that's a whole other story that we're not going to get into. But anyway, how did Mike and I make it work? We've learned a lot over the years. We have. And it's not that we haven't been without our trials, our huge ups and downs. We've definitely had them. Have we ever gotten to the point where we're thinking separation? Yeah, that has happened. Not often, once that I can remember. But I think that the number one thing, like I could sit here and say, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, and that whole, oh, never go to bed angry and blah, blah, blah. All the rules that society has out there, or the I don't want to say rules, but the, whatever I can't think of the word this morning. Oh my God, I haven't had breakfast yet. I need brain food. But all these ways that the world tells you that, oh, you can make this work if you do this, this, and this. I'm not going to give you a list of things, because I think that it comes down to one thing. And that one thing is, you have to want it to work. You have to want the relationship to work. If that isn't at the top, then it's not gonna. You can try all these other things to maybe make it work, but if it's not something you truly want and desire, it's not gonna work. I wanted my marriage to work. I made a commitment before God and before 200 guests at my wedding. And I stuck by that commitment because I wanted to. I look back at my life now at 51 and a half years of age, and I can tell you that that is my greatest achievement in life. My greatest achievement is the longevity of my marriage and defying the odds that were stacked completely against us. In the course of 37 years, I've probably been 5 different people, and so is Mike. I read a statistic, and this is where the phrase 7-year itch comes from, where psychologists and people who have done studies and research have said that you change as a person every 7 years. Hence the 7-year itch, why a lot of marriages kind of die off after 7 years, because you get married one day, 7 years later, neither of you are the same person. And instead of adapting and falling in love with that new person, you're like, ugh, this isn't worth it, and you give up. So in the course of our 37 years together, 32 years of marriage, he's been with a lot of different women in this body. But we've always wanted it to work out. Now, once you adopt that mindset of, I want this to work. I want this person that I've pledged my life to, whether you're married or not, whether you're just living together with someone for decades. Is it something you really, truly want? If you find yourself thinking, I wonder, someone else, or just being alone, if you're wondering that, you truly don't want it to work. That's where it's got to come from. It's got to come from, you want it. You want this. Now, once you have that mindset, I did write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things. I'm going to try to go through them quickly, or this video will get way too long, of things that have worked for Mike and I. First one being respect. And respect for 3 different areas in your relationship. First of all, respecting your partner as a person. The looking at that person and saying in your mind or out loud, I respect you as a human. You are a couple, but you're also 2 completely different people. And you want to look at that person that you've devoted your life to and you're pledging your life to with respect. You want to respect that person's time. That wasn't always an easy thing for me. And that's something that has only been a priority for me probably in the last 2 years. So yeah, 30 plus years of not respecting his time. It was always me saying, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're doing it this weekend. And if he had plans to do something around the house or do something with the car or do something that he wanted to do, what I wanted would override that. And no event happened to make me want to change my way of thinking. It was just something clicked in me that if you respect somebody, you're going to respect their time. You're going to respect their wants, what they want out of life as well. So I have finally been able to say, when someone invites us to do something or I want to do something, you know, I ask him, do you have plans for this day? Is there something you needed to do? Is there something you wanted to get done? And if he had concrete plans, then I have to tell the other people no, or I have to tell myself no. I've learned to respect my husband as a human. I've learned to respect his time. His time is just as valuable as my time. And I've learned to respect what he wants out of his life also. So big thing, respect. I've also, number 2, I want to please him. I want to please my husband. The cooking of a dinner for him every night. Now, I'm a little, I don't want to say I'm old school, because I don't believe it's the wife's responsibility to be in the kitchen and the husband's responsibility to bring home the bread. That's just how our relationship has always worked, because he has had a career that has been the main breadwinner. I have not made as much money, and I'm the one that took the time off to raise the children, and then only worked part-time when they got to a certain age. So that's just how the dynamic has worked for Mike and I. But I'm in no way saying that's how it has to be. I know plenty of couples, even in my own family, where the wife is the main breadwinner and the husband has stayed home with the kids. I'm just saying, in our relationship, I want to please him. So because I have been the one home more, when he comes home from, he works, at one point he was working 70-hour work weeks for a lot of years, probably a good 8, 9, maybe even 10 years. It's a lot of time on his feet, on his legs. When he would come home after working sometimes a 12 and 13-hour day, I had a hot meal on the table ready for him when he walked in the door. It wasn't about me and what I wanted. It was me wanting to please him. It was. That's all it was. I wanted to please him. I wanted to give him something to encourage him, or just to make his belly full. I want to please that man. If there's something he needs, he works on all our cars. He doesn't go to a garage unless it's something he literally needs computerized equipment for or something like that. He's limited to a point, but I've seen the man take a motor out of a car, rebuild it, and put it back in. But if there's something that would make his ability to work on our cars easier, I want him to have that. If that means taking $200 of fun money away from me and entertainment and things I want to do to give him a tool that I'm never going to use, but it's going to make his life easier, make that time working on the car go faster, I want to please him with that. And that's a mindset, again, that came easier once we didn't have children anymore. Because you know how kids are. They kind of take your focus away from your partner, and then it's all about the kids for a while. Not that I agree that that's how it should be. And that is why a lot of marriages dissolve as well, because we get into mom mode, and then the husband or partner or whoever it is gets pushed to the side. And I don't agree with that, but unfortunately that is what happens. So you have to want to please that person. Number 3, sacrifice. A wonderful relationship does not come without its sacrifices. There's really not a lot of explanation needed with that. Sometimes you have to sacrifice what you want and what you need for that other person. Look at the amount of vacation days my husband has sacrificed, not being able to do what he wants to do because my butt has been in a hospital. It's just called sacrifice. He could have been an ass and said, you know, I'll see you when I'm done my work day. I'll come to the hospital to visit you when I'm done my work day because I'm not burning vacation time for this. But he didn't. That's sacrifice. I sacrificed any kind of a career because I wanted, and we wanted us to stay home, me to stay home, so we didn't have to put our children in daycare. I know that's not for everybody, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there are sacrifices that we have to make as humans to make decisions that we're making together as a couple work. You make these decisions together as a couple. You don't make them on your own. Or maybe you're thinking about things and you approach your spouse with them at night and say, hey, I was thinking about this today. What do you think? But when you make a concrete decision as a couple, there may be sacrifice, and you have to be willing to sacrifice. Let go of your selfishness. The world isn't all about you. Compromise, 4th thing. That kind of goes along with the sacrifice, where you want this, he wants this, but you want this. Well, to have this, there may be some compromise from each of you in order to get this. That's self-explanatory. Again, I really don't have to explain a lot of these concepts to you. Compromise is huge. The last 3 are kind of unique for me, and it's something that I've put a lot of thought into. Silence. Just silence. Turn off your TV. Turn off the music. Put the book down. Just sit and think about your human that you've chose to spend your life with in silence. Think of them as a person separate from you. Just take that moment of silence and think about that human that you've devoted your life to. Yes, you are a partnership. You've made the commitment to become one unit. But he or she is still a person that is separate from you. And just be silent. When you're together in your dwelling, again, I know a lot of you probably just sit and watch TV together, watch videos together, or do whatever together. Take some time to just turn everything off, no distractions, and just look at each other. Look each other in the eyes and see them for who they are and dwell on that. 10 minutes. Set a timer if you have to. Tell your spouse, 10 minutes, we're going to sit here and we're going to look at each other. And I just want you to see me as the person I am. And I'm going to look at you as the separate person you are. It's very enlightening. It's very eye-opening. They say the eyes are the window to the soul, and it is so true. You stare in the eyes of that person, and it's, to me, it melts my heart. It does. It just does. Your bedroom. This has always been a rule. Not always. Not in the first part of our marriage. Probably for the last 20 years, this has been a rule in our marriage. And this rule was implemented by me and me only. Our bedroom is a sanctuary. I made it, our bedroom looked like the typical American family's bedroom. You know, it had the dressers, it had the bed, it had the TV sitting on one of the dressers. There were family pictures everywhere, nicely decorated. I got rid of that about 20 years ago. I removed all family photos and I removed the television. Any photos that are in my bedroom only contain photos of my husband and I. That's it. No TV at all. No distractions, no falling asleep with the television on. What happens then is it works up here, and that, you know, when you go in that bedroom is a sanctuary for the two of you. That is a place that, in a house full of children, you know is devoted to you and your partner. That is the place where your focus is to keep that partner happy, if you know what I mean. I'm not one who believes in the whole family bed thing. We didn't let our kids sleep with us. You know, when we first brought our babies home from the hospital, I had a bassinet next to my bed for maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and then it was off to the crib. Bye. See ya, go. And call me an animal. I don't care. Just, children don't belong in the bedroom. The bedroom is for you and your spouse. That's it. And that is where you keep your partner happy. And I'm not going to go into the whole sex thing. I will say that my husband and I have a very healthy, active sex life. And that is a big part of a healthy marriage. But, you know, again, I'm no sexual psychiatrist or sex therapist. And I realize there are medical issues with a lot of people, and I am in no authority to even talk about that subject. I just know it took me a while to make it a priority, to make sure that my husband was happy and content. But my bedroom is very, very important to me. No distractions. When we're in the bedroom together, the focus is on me. That's it. And then the last one, it's kind of unique. And I'm just going to say the word smile. When you look at your person, your human that you've devoted your life to, look at them and just smile. If there's tension, when they come home from work and they've had a rough day, you know you can melt a lot of ice with just a smile. Just look at your human and just smile at them. It lets them know that you're connecting with them, that you appreciate what they do, that you're happy with them. My husband makes me happy. He really does. And I have no trouble just taking the time to look at him and just smile. And try that as an exercise as well. You know, stand in front of each other and say, 30 seconds, we're just going to stand here and smile at each other. The walls will come down. If you have walls built up, taking that time to smile and focus on each other and going back to the whole silence thing and just looking at each other, those walls are going to begin to fall down. And I think over time, with just the distractions of the world after you move in together or get married or whatever, with jobs and going separate ways, and we still have our friends that we had before we got together, and now we have new friends that we've developed since we've been together, and then raising children and having pets, and then all the activities that come with the kids, and life becomes completely chaotic. And that's when people just start to drift apart, because it's too much influence from the outside world to keep that relationship strong unless you work at it. You have to want it and you have to work at it. And that's where those moments of silence and those moments of smiling and that sanctuary of a bedroom are going to play a huge role in keeping that relationship strong and vibrant. So I'm going to end this video with a picture montage of Mike and I through the years. Yeah, we've changed a lot physically too. Oy. So yeah, that's where I'm going to end this. So thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Hopefully you'll take some of my words of encouragement to heart and maybe try some of these things. I'm proof that they worked. You know, being together with someone from the age of 14 to the age of 51, that doesn't happen in today's society. We live in a throwaway society, but I was determined, and so was Mike, not to let anything make our marriage disposable. So that's it. Enjoy my pictures, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.